They used 9/11 as a pretext to embark on this cockamamie notion of invading a bunch of countries in the Middle East to change their governments. They used a weapon to mass destruction as an excuse. Let me tell you, in 1991, when I was a one-star general at the National Training Center, I had to go back to Washington on a visit. And I paid a courtesy call on Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Colin Powell, and then went upstairs and paid a courtesy call on Undersecretary of Defense Paul Wolfowitz. 1991. I said, Mr. Secretary, congratulations on the Gulf War. He said, well, thanks, but not really. He said, because we let Saddam Hussein get away. I didn't say anything. I wasn't in the Gulf War. I was in Fort Irwin, California, as the commanding general of the National Training Center. Wolfowitz said, you know, he said, some people think that Saddam's going to be overthrown. He said, I know, he said, our president thinks that. He said, but I don't think so. He says, in fact, we failed. He said, but we've got a window. We learned that the Soviets won't use force against us when we use force. We can now use our military, he said. And we've got a window, an opportunity of 5, 10 years, maybe more. Go into the Middle East in force and clean out these old Soviet client states, these Soviet surrogate regimes like Iraq and Syria, before the next great superpower comes along, and bring the Middle East over to our side. I listened to him. I just said sort of, oh yes sir, thank you, and walked out. I could get a glass of water. So I thought to myself, well, that's certainly a strategic nugget. Think of that. We're going to embark on a campaign of cleaning up the military, cleaning up the Middle East by invading countries, knocking off their governments, taking over. Goodness gracious. I walked out of the office in 1991, and it was like a time war. That's what they did after 9/11. They put the plan in place. I was in the Joint Chiefs of Staff 10 days after 9/11, and a 3-star general said to me, "Sir, come in." I said, "No, you're too busy." Sir, come in. What is it here? We're going to invade Iraq. This is 10 days after 9/11. I said, why? Did they find some kind of lead in which Saddam Hussein? He said, no, sir. They know that the army we can invade Iraq and take down his government. So I guess it's like the old saw, you know, if the only tool you got's a hammer, then every problem has to look like a nail. I came back about 6 weeks later. I didn't want to, you know, overstay my welcome in the Pentagon as a retired officer. And we were at that time bombing in Afghanistan. I went back to see the same general. I said, so tell me, I said, are we still going to go into Iraq? He said, oh, sir, it's worse than that. And he picked up a piece of paper on his desk. He said, this is a memo I just got from the third floor meeting of the Office of the Secretary of Defense that outlines a 5-year campaign strategy. We're going to go first into Iraq, then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and then Iran. 5 years, 7 countries.
Allah